You're actually in the home of Crownsway Insurance Brokers based in Handsworth on Holyhead Road, established since 1971.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Older than me.
And how old are you, or should I not ask?
37 years old. Born in the 80s.
Oh, 80s, love it. And Matt, I'm going to change it a little bit. Sorry, I'll let you introduce yourself, then I'll talk about how this show will commence. So, in fact, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Nice to see everybody. My name's Matt Harcourt Poole. I'm a family law solicitor. I work for George Green Solicitors. We've got offices in Wolverhampton, Cradley, and Sutton Coldfield. And I'm pleased to be here with Neelam today.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining me here at the Business Talk with a bit of a twist. This is where the twist is. We'll start off with 3 random questions, which is not business related, but it is personal, and some proper random questions, and followed by a bit of a business talk about what Matthew does and how he can help you, or if anyone is trying to venture in that particular industry, and he'll give some tips and open to giving some opinions. And
Of course.
yeah, fantastic, thank you. And it will end with truth or dare.
Wonderful. I can't wait.
Lovely. Okay, so let's commence. But just before we do, can you confirm that you have not been given any 3 random questions that you're fully aware of? You're not aware of any of the truth or dares or anything like that?
I haven't got a clue, and I'm absolutely terrified.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Question number 1. What's something you're weirdly good at but would never put it on your CV?
Landscape gardening is something I'm really good at. I mean, it's not a bad thing to put on your CV, I suppose, but it obviously doesn't fit in with what I do. I do a lot of renovations at home, and I have a weird ability for working outside and working with my hands. So landscape gardening is my answer to that, I would say.
I must say I'm a little bit shocked by that and surprised. It's well, we'll get into that conversation later. But wow,
yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I will definitely give you a call because my garden needs doing.
I'm sure I can make time for you, Neelam. That's no problem at all.
Thank you. Question number 2. What's the most useless superpower you'd still be slightly excited to have?
This is a hard question. For me, it would be like supersonic hearing, because I can't see that there's any point in it, really. I can hear as much as I need to be able to hear now anyway, but it would probably still be pretty cool to be able to hear what people are talking about from like 10 miles away or something like that. So the ability to hear from a really far distance would be the most useless thing I can think of.
Okay. Perfect. So if you were famous for something completely random, what would it be?
That's a good question as well. Completely random. I think I would be famous for rapping, because I can rap a little bit.
Is that rapping up presents, or are you?
No, rapping as in a little bit of, a little bit. I'm not great at it, but yeah, I reckon I could give it a go. I think I could probably become famous for that if I wanted to.
And can you do freestyle as well?
Maybe I can, but we won't be doing that today.
Now let's talk about George Green. Who is and what is George Green?
So George Green is a full-service law firm. Its head office is based in Cradley Heath. I've been with the company now for 4 months. They're an amazing firm. We are big enough to cope, but small enough to care about our clients. And we offer and service the people of the Black Country and nationwide. Certainly for me, one of the best, if not the best firm that I've ever worked for. They really care about clients. That clients are everything to us, which is important in my opinion. Without a client, we don't have a job. So yeah, that's kind of a snapshot of George Green. We help everybody with anything that you can think of, whether that be individuals or businesses, and yeah, just a wonderful place run by the brilliant David Stevenson, who's our CEO, and yeah, just thankful to be with all my colleagues.
So we've spoken about George Green. Now let's talk about family law. The word family law to me, it sounds a little bit terrifying, and I mean, obviously I know a little bit about what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and I love your process and how you make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start off with the words family law. What is it?
Good question. I think it's misconstrued sometimes. So the phrase family law would probably indicate that we deal with or help people with anything that a family might need assistance with. So things like making wills and so on. But actually, in family law, we deal with those couples who are unfortunate enough to find themselves in a situation whereby they've separated, and they need some help with either resolving the arrangements for their children or dividing their financial assets, or it might just be they need some help in processing their divorce proceedings. We also help cohabiting couples or people who intend to live together or marry, and we can help them to protect their wealth as they move into the marriage. We do that by assisting them with the preparation of nuptial agreements, whether that be a pre-nuptial agreement or a post-nuptial agreement, so before or after they get married. We can help cohabiting couples to set up agreements which govern how they will deal with the property when they separate. And we can also help cohabiting couples who find themselves again in a place where they separate, but they need some help dividing or dealing with a property that they might own together, for example.
Now, you did mention about before and after. I want to talk about before. For me, and I'm only speaking, with my own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I find it a little bit unnormal for people to have a conversation with a solicitor about possible separation or issues in a marriage,
Mm-hmm.
even so before they got married. But it's I understand why they would do it, because if anything happens, you want it to be as smooth as it can be. But have you seen a bit of an increase in that as well?
I think there has been an increase. I think my view of it would be you wouldn't think for a second about taking out insurance for your house or
Mm,
insurance for your car, just in case the worst happens. And that is what a nuptial agreement provides for. So it doesn't have to be a difficult process. It doesn't have to be an adversarial process. It can just be a process whereby a couple sit down and say, we need to be sensible about this.
mm,
We don't think we're ever going to separate. Obviously, we're about to get married. We love one another. But if we ever were to separate, we wouldn't want to go through the acrimony and the difficult times that follow or can follow. And so I think that it is only a sensible and pragmatic thing to do. So it doesn't have to be, a difficult decision to take, and it's very normal for people to do. People think that it is limited to the rich and famous, for
yeah.
example, but it isn't. It's for anyone who has any kind of asset that they might want to ensure they retain after a marriage, or anybody who simply just wants to provide for what will happen if their marriage ends, so that everybody's sure about what happens at the end. So yeah, I think there's something for everybody to think about.
And that was a great example that you shared with us in regards to insurance. You know, people take up insurance for the business just in case something happens. Same goes for home insurance. And that also moves on to wills. Obviously, you have a will because you don't know what's going to happen. So it's very much similar like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in some respects, obviously, if you don't have a will, and I'm not a wills expert, but if you don't have a will, then your assets are dealt with in a slightly different way,
Mm,
and they're subject to quite a rigid set of circumstances. And in family law, if you don't have a prenuptial agreement in place, you can find yourself in a place where the court's deciding what happens with your finances, and they use a set list of factors, and it might not be the outcome that either of you want. So why not think about what you might want at the start, so that you know what you're going to get at the end if it happens. So I completely agree. I think it's just about planning for the future more than anything else.
Absolutely. So obviously, if not everyone has prepared for before, but now we are on after.
Yep.
Okay. So nothing's been prepared, and unfortunately, the relationship isn't working out. Can you just talk through your process as a new customer? Well, not how you would refer it as.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in terms of, I suppose if somebody comes to see me that's separated, I think the first stage of my process is to have a telephone call with them. That'll probably be 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever that might be, just so I can get to know them, and I can get to know a little bit more about their circumstances and their situation. And then, there's the opportunity to then come and take some formal advice from me, which is we do a fixed fee appointment for formal advice. You come to see me, I take as much detail as possible. We're not time limited at all. You're there for as long as you need to be. And then I take as much detail as I can, and I advise you and write to you afterwards, and I set out what happens next and how you can move forward. And that could be in relation to any issues, and that includes before and after, to be totally honest. So, my view would always be, if you feel that you're in a situation where you need to take some advice, don't hesitate to just pick the phone up to speak to somebody. Not everybody does free appointments, but most people will be able to give you a steer in the right direction, or at least talk to you for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm a firm believer that everybody in some form should be able to access legal advice.
Okay, so you mentioned about 15 minutes talk. Is that the talk over the phone as a free consultation, or is it just to see where this could lead to? I mean, can you explain a little bit more about that 15 minutes?
Of course, yeah. So that first sort of 15-minute, 20-minute phone call is really just an exploratory call from our perspective and from your perspective. So it's an opportunity for you to get to know me a little bit, for me to get to know a bit more about your circumstances, and then to give you your options in terms of the way forward, effectively, and what we can do in terms of setting up that appointment and so forth. So I like to have that call, because then when I meet with the client later, I've already got an idea of what's happening in their life. And it's not like they're meeting me for the first time and all starting fresh. So really, in my opinion, it's just about that initial relationship building for that 15 minutes.
And I believe that is so important, because obviously what you're going through, or what your thought process would be about separating, possibly divorce, you need to be able to speak to someone who you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I wouldn't want to go through that position, but it's just absolutely terrifying.
Indeed. Yeah. And emotion is a big factor. People, I completely accept and understand that people will be coming to see me at one of the very worst times in their life, most of the time, and a lot of them may not want to be in a room with me. So I think that our job is to make it as stress-free as is ever possible for that person.
Yep. Trust me, he is lovely.
I am.
Okay, so right, I have come across. I mean, obviously, I can't really name anyone, but some of my friends who are going through that process of separation, they have outsourced a solicitor, but they're struggling with a solicitor because they're not seeing any form of communication or movement. They don't know what's happening. Now, if they were to approach you coming from a different solicitor, can you have that 15 minutes conversation with you and see whether you can either take away, well, assist them or prompt them to prompt their solicitor?
Yeah, absolutely. I try not to offer, I suppose, second opinions because it can be difficult for a person who is receiving conflicting advice from
Yeah.
two solicitors. But what I will usually do is, again, have that initial call with them, just see how they're feeling about everything. And then if they want to come along with a view to taking some independent advice from me and considering whether or not they need to think about changing representation, and that's obviously something that we can help with. I mean, to touch on your comment regarding communication, I'm a great believer that you shouldn't leave a missed call unreturned same day. I certainly think, unless there are certain circumstances, if you're in court or something, and I think that you should, as best you can, try to keep your inbox active and make sure that you're responding to people within sort of 24 to 48 hours, or at least they're getting an email from you to say, I've received your email, I'll
Yeah.
consider it soon. Communication is probably the most important thing in our job, particularly when we talk about that emotion. And so I'm a great believer that there is no reason most of the time that you can't return a phone call.
Thank you. And it's nice to know that you can still assist. And, although people or someone might have issues with the current solicitor, you're not all about trying to grab them. You're still trying to give them a support, but
Indeed,
obviously not conflict with what's already been given by their solicitor. And it's
absolutely.
really nice to know that you're still there to help as well. Okay, so now we've spoken about George Green, we've spoken about how you can help and what family law is all about.
Mhm.
Now, let's talk about how, or in fact, those who are looking into venturing into the family law, if you've got students or someone who's just in the middle of studying, what tip can you share?
Ooh, good question. Things have changed a little bit from when I trained. I suppose a message from me is it's never too late to go into the law. I quit my job when I was 28 years old, and I went back to university. I retrained as a lawyer, and I knew that I wanted to be in family law as early as kind of the end of my second or third year at university. I knew that it was for me. I was in a people centred industry previously, in quite a senior position, and I wanted to continue to be able to challenge myself. So I think for anyone who's studying right now, commit to your
Mm.
studies, work as hard as possible, and in my view, build connections as early as you can. And by that, I don't mean by spamming people on LinkedIn for connections. I mean actually go and speak to people, send meaningful messages. Look for work experience opportunities, whether they be in one of your big five firms, an international firm, or a high street firm. Go and get experience in a wide range of practices, in a wide range of areas, so that you can be best informed about what you want to do. There is no reason that it needs to be a difficult arena to enter or a difficult industry to get
Mm.
into. As I say, things have changed. The SQE has come in, which is a new way in which solicitors are tested and in which we qualify as
Okay.
such. And it's really quite difficult to do, and I sympathise with everybody who's going through that at the moment. And I do think there's probably some reform that's due there, but I think my message would be just keep going, don't give up, don't be disheartened by no's, because you might get 100 of those, but you will get a yes eventually. And once you're in and you're through the door, the industry, as wide as it is, presents opportunities for everybody. So yeah, that would probably be my advice.
Thank you for that. That's absolutely brilliant. So now we've done the three random questions. Tick. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
done.
well done.
We've done the business talk. Tick.
Yeah.
Now you know what's next. Truth or dare? Here's a question, Matt. Truth or dare?
Dare.
Okay. Right. I actually have two. Would you do two dares?
As long as it doesn't involve me dancing, I'll do 2 dares.
Okay, lovely. Right. So this is what I want you to do. Dare number 1.
Yep.
I want you to describe your job without using the words. I'll write it down for you here. Law, court, judge, divorce, or solicitor. So describe your job without using the words law, court, judge, divorce, or solicitor. I'll give you 30 seconds just to think about it
Okay.
from now.
I think I can do it. I think I need however many seconds that was. I think I'm good to go.
In fact, that was less than 30 seconds. I am very impressed, Matt. Well, hang on.
Well,
Not yet, not yet, not
Absolutely.
yet. And sorry, I forgot to add, you need to make me laugh.
Ah, right. Okay. Can I have a few more seconds?
Okay, go on then, quickly.
Yeah, go on then.
All right. Okay. Once again, describe your job without using the words law, court, judge, divorce, or solicitor. Over to you now.
I help couples to navigate their separation in an amicable and pragmatic way so that they can get a result that works for them and, most importantly, their family. And they can do it all without ripping each other's heads off.
Okay. Okay. I give you that.
My pleasure.
At first, I was a little bit like, Matt's not making me laugh. But then it was just that ending. I did chuckle a little
You did
bit.
say just make you laugh, not all the time. So, you know.
You cheeky. All right. Now, dare number 2.
Go on.
You've mentioned it before in the business talk.
Yes.
Okay. Now I want you to demonstrate it. I want you to now freestyle a rap.
Absolutely not. That's not happening.
I'm joking.
Okay.
Okay. So now I want you to explain what a family law does as you attending a 6-year-old at bedtime. So just imagine a 6-year-old. You need to tell that 6-year-old all about family law.
Okay.
And you need to make me laugh again. 30 seconds. I'm really putting him on the spot, aren't I?
Okay.
You can use these words. That's
I can't
not a
use
problem.
these
Yeah,
words.
you can use law, court, judge, divorce, solicitor. All right, you can. But just remember about the age. And you need to make me laugh. So if you want to use any little kiddie voice or any little demonstrations, you can't really demonstrate it, can you?
Absolutely not. Okay, I think I'm ready. I don't know if I'm going to make you laugh, but I think I'm ready to go.
Remember, I'm 6 years old.
You're
It's a
6 years
bedtime
old.
story.
It's
Yeah,
a bedtime story.
All right, so I got my duvet. Let's go.
Hang on a minute. I need a little bit longer. Oh wow, you put me right under it. Right, we ready? Once upon a time, there was a mummy and a daddy who couldn't get along anymore, and so they decided that they needed to live in separate houses, and they came to see me because they wanted help to figure out how you should be looked after if they can't live in the same house together. And the main thing we talked about was the fact that you get to have 2 Christmases and all the presents in the world because of that situation where you get 2 homes. But mummy and daddy still love you and they still want the best for you. And my job is to help them do the best for you. think. That's what I would say.
Okay. I did say to make me laugh, but coming to think about it, it's such a hard conversation to have
It's
when
impossible. It's a
it
really
is.
difficult conversation. And on a serious note, uh, what we would, it's unlikely that we would ever have to communicate that to a child, but
Mm,
judges actually do write letters to children now, and they do it in a way to explain to the child in a child-friendly way that mummy and daddy aren't going to be together anymore. They've needed some help to um, work out what's going to be best for you, and I've made a decision based on what I think is right for you. And they do that to reassure the child that
good.
in the future everything's going to be okay and there's a reason behind it. So
Mm.
for me, they are at the centre of everything that we do in family law, and they should be protected at all costs.
And it's quite nice to hear that because it's not only the family law support that you give, but also the courts as well,
Indeed.
taking into consideration about kids as well.
Yeah,
No, I mean, thank you for touching on that. As what I mentioned, you did not make me laugh, but it was nice to know. Yeah,
I tried.
you tried. No, honestly, that's. I mean, to be fair, you've done 2 days, so I
It's my
do
pleasure. You can
appreciate
pick the
that.
best one. No, I'm
Yeah.
joking.
So once again, if you want to make connection with Matt, by all means, I will have his contact details in the comment section and under the description as well as family law. That George Green can also assist with any other legal advice or activities that's needed. Again, by all means, you can speak to Matt, and Matt will direct you to the right team. Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well. I will somehow get you to rap.
Maybe on a future video. Maybe on a future video. Stay tuned. You never know what you might see.
There you go. You've just done my ending. Thank you.
Crownsway Insurance Brokers Limited is a family business established in 1971. We proudly provide and assist with both business and personal insurance needs. Founder, late Dr. Dharam V. Duggal. Managing Director, Dr. Saroj K. Duggal, MBE. Contact the host. If you'd like to take part or discuss your insurance needs, telephone number 0121 554 3566. Email neelam@crownsway.co.uk. Disclaimer. This video and/or podcast is provided for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Crownsway Insurance Brokers Limited.